Hello RWBY fans, welcome back to another video on the channel. This one's going to be a little unscripted and is also connected to the one I'm going to post after this one, which is all about Ironwood. But for that video to make sense, this video had to be made first, and also this video is unscripted because a lot of this information is just me explaining situations as I perceive them, as I believe the show has shown us. So I didn't think scripting it was necessary, but regardless, you saw the title, you saw the thumbnail, you know what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about how long ago the fall of Beacon actually was in the show, because the show doesn't really answer it, like, at all. It's kind of just there in the background, which, fair enough, there are other things happening, you know. Time charting isn't really on their to-do list, which is fine, but, well, hey, we'll go through it as the audience, as somebody who has omniscient knowledge of the entire series, because we're not the characters in the show. We can see which events happen when. So anyway, let's continue on with the explanation. So, we all know Volume 3. Fall of Beacon happens, and things get real dark in the show. So let's analyze the scenes right before the fall of Beacon and see where in the time of year we are. We see right before PvP, so Chapter 8 of Volume 3, we see Jean and Pyrrha outside talking in one of Beacon's many outdoor areas, and we see that it is fall. You know, the leaves are changing, leaves are falling from the tree, so we can assume that the Vital Festival takes place during the fall. Makes sense. Now, what people seem to gloss over when they're talking about time placement when it comes to what month of the year we're in, people tend to gloss over this little detail, but I will remind people in case you forgot. In the finale of Volume 3, we see Salem doing her little speech, which we get the big reveal of Salem. But right before that, we see RWBY leaving her house in Patch and meeting up with Jean, Ren, and Nora. What's interesting about this scene, though, is that right before RWBY leaves her house, we see her in her bed, and the camera pans out of the window, showing that it's still fall, meaning that it's been like a day or so since she activated her silver eyes and did all that stuff. So it makes perfect sense that it would be fall still. And when RWBY goes to meet Jean, Ren, and Nora, there's snow on the ground, meaning that it is winter, meaning that at least 2 months have passed since RWBY came back home and rested and decided to journey out to Haven. So we can assume that the fall of Beacon takes place during the fall, so around September, October. And we can assume that when RWBY and the rest of Team Juniper leave for Haven, it is wintertime, meaning around 2 months have passed. Now, we fast forward a little bit to the premiere of Volume 4, and we see that it is springtime where they are, which we know they're in Anima. They're heading toward Mistral to Haven Academy. And it is springtime. The leaves are green, there's birds out, it's warm, it's comfortable, all that stuff. Now, when can you tell this video is unscripted from all the ums? Anyway, so we can tell that during Volume 4, it is springtime, meaning that from fall, which is when the fall took place, it has been roughly 6 months. So let's assume that the beginning of Volume 4 takes place around March or April of the following year. Now, during Volume 5, time is very, very, very difficult to pin down because the main cast doesn't really go anywhere except for the Mistral House. So it's a little more difficult to pin down how long it is between the premiere of Volume 5 and the finale of Volume 5, but I still have an answer for that, so we will explain it right now. At the beginning of Volume 5, they arrive in Mistral, they arrive at Haven Academy, and talk to Lionheart. And then after that, they say they're going to be staying in the city while they wait for things to happen. And when Ozpin shows up and tells them that he's going to train Team Ranger, he says, we have exactly 1 month before the new semester starts. Meaning that it's like I said earlier, it's about March. It is not summertime like a lot of people assumed it was when they were watching Volume 5, because a lot of people thought that all of the different volumes were following the seasons, because that's what the maidens were introduced as, like the maidens of the seasons. So a lot of people thought that like every season was going to be a different time of year, meaning different season. No. We are still in spring in Volume 5, and by the end of Volume 5, we start moving into summer. And we will see how in a second. So, we see that by the end of Volume 5, they have been in Mistral for a month. And we see this because of different dialogues from different people in the cast doing different plans at the same time. For example, Ozpin, when he says, I'm going to train you, he says he doesn't say a month, he says we have a few weeks to get you all into fighting shape. And then later on in the volume, we see that Gira says we have exactly 1 month until the full moon and the start of Adam's plan to attack Haven. So we know that roughly it's only a month of time between the end of Volume 4 and the end of Volume 5. Makes sense. And then by the time Volume 6 rolls around, we notice that we're starting to get into summer, because in the letter Crow writes to Ironwood at the beginning of Volume 6, he says, it's been a few weeks since the attack on Haven, meaning they're still there, meaning they're about to start to go to Atlas. So if we are still around the March-April range, that would have put them around the end of April, beginning of May. The reason I'm using real-world months is because several people from RWBY, the writers included, have said that the Remnant school system follows the Japanese school system in terms of scheduling, meaning school starts in the spring, goes until summer. They have a month off in the summer. The second semester starts in fall. They go through the fall. They have a winter break, and the third semester starts during winter and goes until the beginning of spring, and then it repeats. So we know that by the time Volume 6 is finished, we are about to head into summer. Also, it's very, very, very interesting to point out that Volumes 6 and 8 are the two volumes that take place over the shortest amount of time, because a lot of people think that Volume 6 took place over a very, very long stretch of time. It really didn't. Volume 6 took place over like a day and a half at most, because we see in the premiere that they're heading on the Argus Limited to go to Argus. We see them crash, go to Brunswick Farms, stay at Brunswick Farms overnight, run into the Apathy, defeat the Apathy, and leave the farm, all within the span of like 12 hours, based on the time of day in those episodes. And by the time we get to Argus, it's still the same day after they fought the Apathy, and when they go talk to Cordovan, and they go talk to Saffron and Terra, and they go deal with the plan to try to steal the airship, it's a day of them in Argus before they leave. So roughly the time between the premiere of Volume 6 and the end of Volume 6 is about 2.5 days of them going to the city, doing the thing with Cordo, and then leaving. And then, of course, Volume 7 takes place over many, many weeks. And then Volume 8, as we know, takes place over 2 days. But my point is, by the time Volume 7 starts, which is the last time that a character directly mentions the fall of Beacon to the main cast, it's only been about 8 months. It hasn't even been a year yet. In my Ironwood video, I incorrectly stated that we are coming up on the year anniversary of the fall of Beacon, but that's not necessarily true now that I went back and did my research. But that video was recorded weeks ago, and I would have to rework the entire thing in order to re-record that line. So just know that in that video I am speaking incorrectly when I'm talking about the time of placement for the fall of Beacon, but everything else in according to the time of year and when events took place, that is 100% correct, because that is how it's presented in the show. Regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know a lot of people are confused about time in RWBY and how weird it is and how wonky it is sometimes, but hopefully this made sense. Hopefully this makes you question things, or if you had questions about something, maybe it answered some of them. Maybe, I don't know. Hopefully. But anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. If you haven't watched the Ironwood video yet, please go watch it. It's there. It has a lot of information in it that hopefully can help you understand Ironwood's character a little better, because I know he was very misunderstood by the end of Volume 8. But regardless, hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time, stay safe and stay lovely.